Good afternoon. I'm Liz Elliott, Director of Lincoln Transportation and Utilities. I want to thank Margie Propp for providing interpretation today. Also joining me today is Lancaster County Engineer Pam Dingman, who will offer a winter operations update for the county in just a moment. Lincoln Transportation and Utilities winter operations team has made major progress since midnight Monday, when we first began sending our snow fighters and contractors out to maintain Lincoln's arterial and residential streets. Since then, more than 100 crews have been working day and night to clear historic amounts of snow off the streets of Lincoln. This is an unprecedented time. In just 3.5 days, our snow fighters have successfully cleared 14.5 inches of snow from arterial streets and emergency bus and school routes. On many arterial streets, residents are already able to enjoy driving on pavement. We are currently 70% complete with all residential streets. Crews are expected to have plowed through all residential streets at least once by midnight tonight. Many of you have asked about the residential parking ban process. Parking bans are necessary to allow our plows to fit down and clear snow from narrow residential streets. Without a parking ban, cars are parked on both sides of the street, which prevents our large plows from fitting down the roads, so the streets may not get plowed at all. Our new parking ban process bans parking on odd number sides of the street in odd number years, such as 2021. And parking on even number sides of the street will be banned in even number years. This ban does not mean that we only plow one side of the street. Our ultimate goal is to plow all streets curb to curb. This goal does not change with this new process. As we have done in the past, snow plows will continue to plow all areas of the street that do not have parked vehicles. So if a street happens to have no vehicles parked on either side of the street, they will plow the entire street. If there are cars parked along one side of the street, the plow will clear the snow from any open area that they can fit into. Although we only ban on one side of the street, we encourage everyone to move their vehicles off the street if they can to assist our plows in getting through the neighborhoods. The residential parking ban will end tonight at midnight. This does not mean that we are finished. It simply means we're on the right track and consistently progressing through our cleanup plan. Over the next several days, residents will see our crews in their neighborhoods tidying up the residential streets throughout Lincoln. As we finish our first passes in the residential neighborhoods, our city snow crews are ready to step into the next phase of our winter storm operations. Beginning at 12:01 a.m. Thursday, a snow removal parking ban will be in effect until 7 a.m. This means that parking will be banned on both sides of the street in districts listed on the screen, and these lists are also available on our website at snow.lincoln.ne.gov. We want to thank Lincoln residents for their patience and resilience during this storm. You can also go to lincoln.ne.gov/uplink, which is UPLNK, and this is another way you can communicate with us further if needed. Both city and county teams provide many important services during storms like these to keep our residents safe. I'd like to now turn the update over to County Engineer Pam Dingman, who will offer a winter operations update for Lancaster County. Pam?
Thank you, Liz. It's definitely been a challenging 72 hours for all of us, and it's always better when we can work together. So Lancaster County has completed the snow removal on our paved arterials as well as our gravel roads. We're working on finishing this afternoon our subdivisions. We've really struggled with this snow, with snow removal in the cul-de-sacs. The cul-de-sacs are often a little too small to get our big trucks in, and we've actually had to rent loaders to get this snow out of the cul-de-sacs, which is very time-consuming for us. And so some of those areas have been a little difficult. We are hopeful to be complete by the end of the day. I'd like to remind everyone that Lancaster County Engineering only has one shift of employees. And they've been working 12 to 14 hours a day for the last 3 days, many of them getting less than 3 hours of sleep a night. So we are starting to get a little tired, and if you see our guys out there, if you can give them a little bit of a break, that would be great. I also want to humbly thank the employees of Lancaster County who are dedicated to continuing to work like this, because we couldn't be successful without them and their dedication, as well as the contractors that have joined us this time. Tomorrow, we will begin operations as normal again. We're going to go back into the areas that we've already been in, and we're going to start opening them up so they're a little wider. Because you may or may not have heard, there's supposed to be another big storm in less than 7 days. I know I'm not supposed to be excited about that, but we want to be prepared for that. Also, I'd like to remind people that we do not move snow from private driveways. We do our best to make sure that snow doesn't get in your driveway when we come by, but given the situation that we're in with as much snow as we've had, we're not always able to do that. So with that, I'll turn it back to Liz.
Thank you, Pam. Speaking of driveways and removing storm, through this storm, the volunteer organization Snow Angels has been very busy. This group of nearly 80 volunteers helps shovel driveways and sidewalks of those who are unable to do so themselves. So far, LTU has had more than 100 requests for Snow Angels from residents in Lincoln. If you would like to volunteer, please sign up on our website at snow.lincoln.ne.gov. More than 100 snow fighters have graciously put aside their day-to-day lives this week to focus on plowing Lincoln's roads. The city is thankful for their efforts and hard work to keep Lincoln streets as safe as possible during the second largest storm since 1965. To show her own gratitude for the work our snow crews are doing, Mayor Lyrian Gaylor Baird stopped by to personally thank our snow fighters and also offered up some donuts to the entire winter operations team today. Before we go, I want to thank all of our city departments, teammates, and contractors for their hard work and service through the storm. We are now open for questions on the city's winter operations.
Liz Riley Johnson with the Journal-Star. Is Tim Byrne available or?
Yes, that's a good point, Riley. I do have Tim Byrne and Assistant Director of Transportation Ron Caldy available for questions. So I will let Tim come on up.
Great. All right, Riley. Hi, Tim. This is the first year of the pilot program on plowing residential streets with contractors. And obviously, it wasn't imagined that you guys would have a sort of historic storm for them to plow. How well prepared are they to respond to a storm like this? And did you have to make any sort of changes to their expectations for when they pass through because of the snow volume?
We did make some adjustments with this event, Riley. The really nice thing about emergency programs that the city and the county and other agencies put together is we make them very flexible. It allows us to expand and contract to the needs of the event. So with this particular one, we did deploy all of our residential contractors at the onset of the snow while city forces worked on the arterial streets just as the plan was designed. And once city forces had arterial streets in good working order, then we consolidated all of those arterial resources into the residential neighborhoods to reinforce those contractors that are out there, to make sure that we keep moving ahead, clearing all the streets with all of our available resources until we get finished.
And Abby would tell You can go ahead, Riley.
I just had a follow-up question, Tim. With this being a pilot program and sort of a really big storm, was LTU made aware of any sort of gaps in responsibility where contractors are missed areas, or kind of can you explain the challenges of getting a pass through on all of the streets in Lincoln's 69 district?
Sure. Our network is very vast. It's quite a spaghetti work of streets, if you might, with 69 districts, sub-districts spread across the city, and nearly 1,800 lane miles of residential streets to clear. That network, we unfortunately, periodically, always tend to have some streets that were missed. Crews will be back out there. They will be tidying those up. We will be responding to all requests for service. So even though there's a scenario that we will be missing some of those streets, it is unfortunate. That is not our goal. But we will be out there and we will be responding to all those. Similarly to difficulties that the county had, cul-de-sacs are always a headache, and high-density areas where there's a lot of on-street parking when folks don't have anywhere else to park, those higher congested areas tend to be more problematic for us. So citizens that live in a neighborhood with a lot of cul-de-sacs, they may see that a plow has come by and cleared the street but did not do the cul-de-sac. We're not forgetting the cul-de-sac. We deploy we deploy ag tractors and wheel loaders into those areas that are a little more maneuverable, able to clear them up a little bit better as you're just too tight to get trucks in there to turn around. So we will get out there. We just have a very systematic approach to deploying the best resource to the area so that they can be efficient in getting those streets cleared up.
Abby from 1011 News here. Going off of that, so if there's a residential road that's been completed, but you're still receiving requests from people saying it's not passable, you're saying you're going to continue to go out to those areas again. Is that correct?
Absolutely. Just because we finish our first pass on residential streets, we will have residential streets open up, restore mobility to the city yet today, but it does not mean we are quitting. We are always here. We are committed to providing service 24/7 every winter, all winter long. Crews will remain out there. They will be responding to those service requests and making sure that we get things cleaned up.
Okay, and then I have a couple questions here. We've heard from many viewers who say they're not happy with the job that the contractors have done. Is there any oversight, or what are the expectations? Do you guys go back and check the job that they did?
Absolutely. We have a team of inspectors and an inspection program that is following up on the crews that are out there clearing the streets. So we have that inspector following up, inspecting routes, making sure that it's cleared properly, ingress and egress is available for citizens. So yes, we do have a check and balance system.
Okay, and then how much are those contractors getting paid to do this?
It varies by contract. It was a bid item. So if you'd like to go to our city's website, it is a public contract. All of the bid items and contracts are listed there.
Okay, and then my last question I have for you. Can you break down how many lane miles of arterial and bus routes you have to clear versus the residential streets?
Approximately, we're just shy of 1,200 lane miles on arterial, school, and bus routes. Those are the streets that we treat most often with each event, the streets that are utilized by the largest capacity of vehicles and citizens going through our community. And then residential streets, I think I said 1,800 earlier. We are just shy of 1,700, I think about 1,684 approximately on our residential streets. So once we get to residential streets, it more than doubles our workload. Plus, with the network of additional intersections, parked cars, the slower travel, the workload and the time it takes us to clear those is much slower than it is on an arterial street.
Before we leave, if citizens do have issues after we get through all of the residential neighborhoods this evening, they can submit comments or requests to our citizen link, which is lincoln.ne.gov/uplink, UPLNK. We do check that all day, every day, and so we are able to feed that in, and our city crews or our contractors can respond and get out to those additional service calls. So that is the best way. It also will save you from having to sit on hold while you're waiting for someone to answer the phone. So again, that's lincoln.ne.gov/UPLNK. If there aren't any other questions, yes.
I have one more follow-up question. The snow fighting website, does that capture the streets that contractors have plowed, or is it just the ones, the city crews that have the GPS coordinating?
Right. That is just those vehicles with city GPS. So that is all of the city crews. It does not include our contractors.
Thank you.
If there aren't any other questions, thank you everybody for joining us today, and we will be providing updates as we move through the rest of the week. Thank you.